Nexo-X, the enigma behind the spheres. Chapter 1, Part 9 of 12.
He, on the other hand, usually carried the phone in the pocket of his pants, and it had stayed there. However, during one of the several times he fell while they were running across the island, the impact caused the screen to crack completely, leaving it unusable. The use of smartphones had been completely common and widespread for many years. Communications had become dominated by these increasingly advanced devices. Coverage had expanded exponentially, and it was possible to make cell phone calls from the island and even from many kilometers out at sea. But in their situation, they needed to find another option. What could they do in the middle of the sea? Realizing that they would not be able to make a call, they tried another way to communicate. They had a second option. They attempted to reach someone by radio. This technology was still in use, although it was already considered obsolete. Even so, they tried. They took the transmitter and sent out a call for help, but received no response. This form of communication had fallen out of use long ago, and the result was only a faint noise on an old radio at a police station. In the other boat, the pursuer had better luck. His phone was in his possession and in perfect condition. Without reducing speed, he took the device and, using voice commands, placed a call that was answered immediately. This put the passengers of the other boat in an even more difficult situation because it meant that the man was not acting alone. The distance between hunter and prey had shortened, but it was unlikely that the killer would be able to reach them before they arrived at the shore. To cause even more fear in the two people fleeing, he fired a couple of shots in their direction. The distance, however, was still enough to keep them safe from the bullets, although the sound could be heard, achieving the intended effect. Little by little, the long-awaited shoreline became visible, leaving behind the beauty of the island, now stained with blood. They realized that the bullets could not reach them because of the distance separating them. They held on to the hope of reaching their destination and escaping that pursuit alive. But since they could not communicate through the radio, they needed to decide what to do once they reached the shore. "We could look for a place where there's a group of people. That would discourage him from carrying out his plans." "I don't think so, my friend. On the contrary, I think we would become his victims, and he would also kill everyone nearby to avoid witnesses." "Then what do we do? We have to think about what to do. We need to think of something quickly." Even though no one answered the radio, I think the police are still our best option. He was thinking about reaching the shore and looking for a crowded place, trusting that when the killer saw more people, he might decide to stop. But there was no guarantee that he would not open fire, and in that she was right. Even though the police had not responded on the old radio, there was still the possibility of finding officers at the station, so the plan to save themselves was to reach the shore and run to the police station.
Go to www.nexo-x.com